The Feaste is like half fundraiser and half showcase for the Shakespeare scenes. The main goal is to make money and to have this big dinner for everyone. And then while we're there, we also perform all the scenes so that all of the parents can see it before we go off to competition. And then we use the funds that we earned to pay for Shakespeare competition. So.
Well, Shakespeare is something that's very hard, and just having something that's hard to work on and just kind of like putting the work into it really like helps you to grow as an actor, and it's presented in such a different way than let's say like TV acting or musical theater. It's presented in a different way, but it's like yeah, it helps you to grow. And yeah.
To our most fair and princely cousin, Catherine, we do salute you.
Our most worthy brother England, fairly met, this day shall change all griefs and quarrels into love.
You must buy that peace with full accord to all our just demands. Our cousin Catherine here, she is our capital demand.
She hath good leave.
Your Majesty shall mock at me. I cannot speak your England.
Fair Catherine, if you will love me soundly with your French heart, I will be glad to hear you confess it brokenly with your English tongue. Do you like me, Kate?
Pardonnez-moi, I cannot tell what is like me.
An angel is like you, Kate, and you are like an angel.
Que dit-il? Que je suis semblable les anges?
Oh, oui, vraiment, sur votre grâce. And si dit-il?
I am glad thou canst speak no better English, for if thou couldst, thou wouldst find me such a plain king that thou wouldst think I had sold my farm to buy my crown.
Cependant, me understand well.
Before God, Kate, I have no cunning in protestation. I speak to thee, plain soldier. If you would have such a one, take me. Take me, take a soldier. Take a soldier, take a king. Speak, my fair, and fairly I pray thee.
Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France?
No. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France. For I love France so well that I would not part with a village of it. And Kate, when France is mine and I am yours, then yours is France and you are mine.
I cannot tell what is that.
No, Kate? Then I shall tell it to you in French, which I am sure will hang upon my tongue. Je compte les possessions de France, vous avec les possessions de moi. Let me see. What then? Donc votre et France être mienne. I will never move thee in French unless it be to laugh at me. But canst thou understand thus much English? Canst thou love me? For I love thee cruelly.
I do not know what is that.
No, 'tis hereafter to know. But now to promise. Do but now promise you will endeavor to love. Avouch the thoughts of your heart with the looks of an empress. Take me by the hand and say, Harry of England, I am thine.
That is as it shall please de mon père.
Nay, it shall please him well.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that, I kiss your hand and call you my queen.
Laissez, monseigneur! Laissez, laissez! Ma foi, je ne veux pas que vous abaissiez votre grandeur en baissant la main d'une de votre sécurité indigne serviteur. Excusez-moi, je vous supplie, mon très puissant seigneur.
Madam, my interpreter, what says she?
That it is not the fashion pour les ladies of France. I cannot tell what is beside in English.
To kiss. It's not the fashion for the maids of France to kiss before they are married, so says she.
Oui, vraiment.
Kate, you and I cannot be confined by the weak lists of a country's fashion. We are the makers of manners, Kate. You have witchcraft in your lips, Kate.
So Prince Hal has lived his whole life watching his father, who is King Henry IV. He's looked up to his father, and his father was a really good king, and he's really scared of that that duty and that responsibility, and he just wants to be as good a king as he can, or else he doesn't want to be king. The way I really connected to this monologue was, like Prince Hal, I'm a little bit scared for some of those opportunities I have, and there's people who've come before me who are better or more talented than me, or it seems like that, and like Prince Hal, I hope I can become like King Henry, or just like a great king or leader.
Pardon me, my liege, but for my tears, the moist impediment unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke. Ere you with grief had spoke, and I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally, long guard it yours. If I affected more than as your honor and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise. God witness with me. I here came and found no course of breath within your majesty. Cold it struck my heart. If I do fain, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead. And dead almost, my liege, to think you were. I spoke unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore, thou best of gold art the worst of gold. Other, less fine in carat, is more precious, preserving life in medicine potable, but thou, most fine, most honored, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, the most royal liege, using it, I put it on my head. Try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is, that does with awe and terror kneel to it. Thank you.
Poor key-cold figure of a holy king. Hail ashes of the house of Lancaster. Be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne.
Oh.
Foul devil, for God's sake, hence and trouble us not. Behold thy butcheries.
Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed evils to give me leave by circumstance, but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe diffused infection of a man, for these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy curse itself. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant ye.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me that thou mayst be damned for this wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The fitter for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven where thou shalt never come, thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else if you'll hear me name it.
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber. Gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits and fall somewhat into a slower method, is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets as blameful as the executioner?
Thou art the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty is the cause of that effect. Your beauty, which did haunt me in my sleep, even as the earth is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
I would I were to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on he that loveth you.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on the man that slew my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
His better doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives that loves you better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
The self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here.
Would that were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a source.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad.
Teach not thy lips such scorn, lady, for they were made for kissing, not such contempt. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry, but 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch, 'twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy face that set me on. Take up the sword again, or take up me.
Well, put up your sword.
Say then my peace is made.
That you shall know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men hope I live so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
See how this ring encompassed thy finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my poor heart. Wear them both, for both are thine. Bid me farewell.
It is more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already. Thank you.
I'm Kate Bennett, and I did a monologue from Coriolanus as Volumnia. She's the mother to the titular character of the story, Coriolanus, and there's a whole lot going on. She's in the middle of a war, several betrayals, regular Shakespearean backstabby stuff, and this is her kind of last-ditch effort to do all that she can to fix and to persuade her son to do what's right. I was handed kind of a list of monologues to choose from and to read through, and this one just really stood out to me. It's a story of guilt and betrayal and loss, and although it wasn't as extreme of circumstances, that's something that we're all familiar with. That kind of hopeful failure is something that I really connected to, and as I discovered more about my character, it kind of helped me
discover more about myself in a way.
Should we be silent and not speak? Our raiment and state of bodies would betray what life we have led since thy exile. Think with thyself, how more unfortunate than all living women are we come hither. Since at thy sight, which should make our eyes flow with joy and our hearts dance with comforts, constrains them to weep and shake with fear and sorrow, making the mother, wife, and child to see, the son, the husband, and the father tearing his country's bowels out. And to poor we, thine enmity most capital, thou barrest us our prayers to the gods, which is a comfort that all but we enjoy, for how can we? Alas, how can we for our country pray? Whereto are we bound? Together with thy victory. Whereto are we bound? For we must lose the country, or else with thy person, our comfort in the country. We must find an evident calamity. Though we had our wish, which side should win? For either thou must, as a foreign recreant, be led with manacles through our streets, or else triumphantly tread on thy country's ruin, and bear the palm for having bravely shed thy wife and children's blood. For myself, son, I purpose not to wait on fortune until these wars determine. If I cannot persuade thee, rather to show noble graces to both parts than to spare the end of one. For thou would no sooner march to assault thy country than to tread. Trust to it, on thy mother's womb that brought thee into this world. Thank you.
Richard III, he starts out as Duke of Gloucester. He's not, acclaimed to the throne really, but he's a nobleman. And he is like the worst person you could possibly be. He's deformed, he has scoliosis, and his left leg is shorter than his right, so he has a limp. And he also has a stub for a hand. And so he's very self-deprecating and kind of like a woe is me attitude, yet he's very driven and just wants nothing more than just to be on that throne. And so throughout the play, Richard III, he does that by any means necessary. He kills his brother, he kills children. So just a really, really awful guy, but in the end he does end up getting that throne, and it's his last moments on earth. He has just been visited by all the ghosts of the people that he has killed, and they told him, you're going to die in this battle tomorrow, and he wakes up. And, in this moment, he's still very much a coward, but he is trying to come to God. A man who has scorned God, denied God, is now kneeling before God, and it's a very raw, emotional, human feeling where it's just in these last moments, all he's trying to do is comfort himself. And I think that's where that sympathy comes from, because I feel like every single person has felt like Richard has, where it's alone and you just want somebody to tell you that it'll be okay, but there's no one to tell him that it's going to be okay. And it's very raw and just kind of heartbreaking.
Bring me another horse, bind up my wounds, have mercy, Jesu!
sleep but dream. O coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me? The lights burn blue. It's now dead midnight. Cold, fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I have to fear? Myself, there is none else by. Richard loves Richard, that is, I am I. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly once from myself. Great reason why. Lest I revenge. What myself upon myself. Alack, I do love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I myself have done unto myself? No, I do hate myself for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain! And yet I lie, I am not. Fool, of thyself speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience hath the several thousand tongues, and every tongue brings in several tale, and every tale condemns me. A villain. Perjury. Perjury in the highest degree. Murder, stem murder in the direst degree. All several sins, all used in each degree, throng to the bar, crying, guilty! Guilty! I shall despair. There's no creature loves me. And if I die, no soul shall pity me. Nay, wherefore should they, since that I, myself, find in myself no pity to myself? Thank you.
Allegiance in their bosom stacked, crowned with faith and constant loyalty. The king hath knowledge of all that they intend by interception which they dream not of.
Nay, but the man that was his bedfellow, whom he hath cloyed with gracious favors, that he should for a foreign purse so sell his sovereign's life to death and treachery.
Gentle knight, give me your thoughts. Think you not that the powers we bear with us shall cut their passage through the force of France?
No doubt, my liege, if each man do his best.
I doubt not that. Never was a monarch better feared or loved than is your majesty. There's not a subject that sits in heart grief or uneasiness under the sweet shade of your government.
True, those that were your father's enemy have steeped their gulls in honey, and do serve you with hearts great of duty and zeal.
We therefore have great cause of thankfulness, and shall forget the office of our hand according to its weight and worthiness.
So service shall with steeled sinews toil, and labor shall refresh itself with hope. We do your grace incessant services.
We judge no less. Uncle of Exeter, enlarge the man committed yesterday that railed against our person. We consider it was excess of wine that set him on. And on his more advice, we pardon him.
That's mercy, but too much security. Let him be punished, sovereign, lest example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind.
Let us yet be merciful.
So may your highness, and yet punish too.
Sir, you show him great mercy if you give him life after the taste of much correction.
Your too much love and care of me are heavy orisons against this poor wretch. If little faults proceeding on this temper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eyes with capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, up here before us? And now to our French causes. Who were the late commissioners?
I won, my lord. Your highness bid me ask for it today.
So did you me, my liege.
And I, my royal sovereign.
Then, Richard, Earl of Cambridge, there is yours. There yours, Lord Scroope of Masham. And you, Sir Knight Grey of Northumberland, the same is yours. Read them, and know I know your worthiness. Why, how now, gentlemen? What see you in these papers that you lose so much reflection? Look, see how they change! Why? What see you there that has so cowarded and chased your blood out of appearance?
I do confess my fault, and do submit me to your highness's mercy.
We all appeal! We appeal!
Mercy that is quickened but late by your own counsel is suppressed and killed. You must not for shame to talk of mercy. See you, my princes and noble peers, these English monsters! My lord of Cambridge here, you know how apt our love was, and this man hath, for a few light crowns lightly inspired and sworn to the practices of France, to which this knight, for no bounty bound to us less than Cambridge, hath likewise sworn. But, oh, what shall I say to thee, Lord Scroope? Thou cruel, ingrateful savage, and inhuman creature! Thou that didst bear the key of all my counsels, that knewest the very bottom of my soul, that almost might have coined me into gold. How hast thou with jealousy infected the sweetness of the show men dutiful. Why so didst thou? See thou brave and learned. Why so didst thou? Come they of noble family. Why so didst thou? Such and so strongly bolted didst thou seem. I will weep for thee, for this revolt of thine, methinks, is like another fall of man. Arrest them to the answer of the law, and God acquit them of their practices.
I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard, Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Henry, Lord Scroope of Masham.
And I repent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive. Although my body paid the price.
For me, the gold of France did not seduce. Although I did admit it as a motive, beseeching God and you to pardon me.
Never did royal subject more rejoice at the discovery of most dangerous treason than I do. My fault, but not my body. Pardon, Samuel.
God, quit you in his mercy. Hear your sentence.
You have conspired against our royal person.
Join with the enemy proclaim, sold your king to slaughter, his peers and princes into servitude, and his whole kingdom into desolation. Seek we no revenge, but may our kingdom safety, whose ruin you have sought. To her laws we deliver you. Get you therefore hence, or miserable wretches, to your death. The taste whereof God